Hello, everyone, and welcome to my session. It's nice to be here with you. My name is Dervis. I will speak about empathic mentoring for developers. So I work for the Norwegian government in Norway. I live in Oslo. I am a Java champion and working as a developer and also a team leader for a group of developers here in the Norwegian government. I am also busy with organizing events for the community in Norway in different groups here, as you see here. So I will speak about mentoring, and my perspective on mentoring is from the empathic view. I have worked a lot in the last 2 years. I have worked a lot with, especially with mentoring underrepresented groups of the society. So my perspective on mentoring today is going to be how you actually mentor people with deep empathy and how you can help underrepresented groups of the society. So this is going to be my perspective. There is a lot of material and talks and books on mentoring. So I will take a slightly different perspective here. So the first question here is, what is really empathy? Because during this talk, we will be focusing especially on this. So empathy, I came across this quote here. Satya Nadella from Microsoft. He was asked, "What is the biggest source of innovation? Is it diversity, technical skill, humanity, employee equities, or something else?" And his answer here really explains empathy in a really nicely way. Here you can read this: the ability to be able to put ourselves in other people's shoes and see the world from the way they see it. That's empathy. And I couldn't agree more. It's very precisely here. And coming to empathy, for me personally, empathy is about deeply caring. And we will be exploring this topic in more in this session. So one common thing that I often see is that empathy is often confused with sympathy, and empathy and sympathy, I mean, as much as they are similar, they are different. You can have empathy but not sympathy, and you can have sympathy but not empathy. But the main differentiating thing between empathy and sympathy here is having empathy means you have the ability to feel what another person is feeling, and also being able to imagining yourself in that person's situation to further understanding those person's feelings. And sympathy, on the other hand, is the ability to perceive and understand and react to the needs of other persons, but without necessarily being able to really understand the situation. So this is two different things. We will be focusing on the empathy side here. So mentoring, when people who want to be mentors, people who want to help others. When I started as a mentor, when I started working more closely with developers, the very first thing and also in retrospect now, it really, everything starts with you. You hold the key in your hand, and that you can use this key. You can open the doors for people. You can include them. You can help them, or you can do the opposite. You can close the door, and you may block the people outside. So everything comes to yourself, and I will be going through some stuff here. So the very first thing, I think, being a mentor, everyone has different perspectives on mentorship. I personally use my experience, what I have learned throughout my life, throughout my journey. So the first advice here: know your story, know your journey. So this is the first, because knowing your story, knowing your journey will help you. So the second thing is Emotions. Show and talk about your emotions and fears. Do not be afraid of sharing your emotions and fears, because being able to talk about your emotions and your fears, it will help also other people build trust in you. And the second is integrity. Adjust your moral compass. Be honest and kind. And I mean, having a moral compass will also help you to raise your voice in situations where you, for example, have injustice. So this is, you have to choose your values. Okay, so inspiration. Choose your inspirations, because having role models, I have always valued having a good role models and their values. And when choosing your role models, look at their values, look at what they stand for, and because that will also help you by also being able to inspire other people in the correct way. So honestly, this is especially an important one. Be true to yourself. I mean, even if not to other people, be honest with yourself. And I'm just signaling someone here. And speak true to yourself. So there is a thing with mentoring that when you mentor underrepresented groups of the society, the very first thing that's going to happen to you, that at least happened to me, is that you are gonna you have to know your inner dragon. So that's this picture, because you might see that you might have some biases on your own. It's very important to actually face those biases, understand them, do something with them, because doing that will actually help you become a better mentor. And deeply caring and empathy really requires you to face your inner dragons. So this is something especially important one. I mean, and to be able to understand people, to understand the situation and understand their feelings, it also requires you to understand who you are. So some requirements, there is some things that needs to be in place when you start. So those three are the main things that I have identified from my own experience. So the first actor here is you, yourself, and then there is your company and partners. So I will go quickly to what these are. So you, as a mentor, you will have a communication line to HR, to leaders, colleagues, teams, and tasks, government projects, job agencies, non-profits. So you interact with them all, and let's look at what they really are. So the company, what is the main important thing here? And I really underline this: leaders and managers must embrace diversity. Leaders and managers must create a strategy for inclusion. Having a strategy for inclusion will also help your company actually succeed with not only mentoring, but also with diversity. So the company also having an HR will help you with recruitment, enrollment, administration, and help you with finding teams and deciding really, do you want to have a mentorship of 3 months, 18 months? That's what the company will help you, and it will also guide your colleagues to share knowledge and so on. So then is you are the most important part here. You demonstrate trust, and you are the safety net around your mentee. And as a mentor, you also plan, speak, and motivate your mentee on your mentee's dreams and goals. And you also help building network, and you encourage the person to also reach out to the network. And more importantly, the final point here, you as a mentor, you provide emotional and technical support. But not only that, but you also actually challenge your mentee. The final part here is the partners, because I work for the government, and as a governmental administration, we have a lot of cooperation with external non-profits, idealist organizations, and other governmental branches. And these organizations, external publications, can also help you actually get in touch with people that need mentoring or support or inclusion. Having partners is something I really encourage. Seek out, build bridges, get to know your local environment and what they actually care about, and build the bridges over to them. So mentoring and why. This is by far one of the more important ones, because why do you want to do mentoring? Why do you want to be mentor? Is it your boss? Did someone tell you to be a mentor, or did you choose it on your own? Do you do it for the money? Or maybe you do it for being recognized? So whatever your reason is, I feel it's extremely important to find the reason why you want to be a mentor, because helping people, I mean, being a mentor and empathically, deeply caring about people, imagine that, especially underrepresented people, I mean, there's people from the underrepresented groups in the society. I have talked with people and developers that at times in their life, they really stand on the edge of giving up on life. And you as a mentor can actually help them getting back. I mean, in some situations, really, it can go so far that some people will even consider ending their life. And I have also been speaking to developers who have been very close to doing something like that. And the pandemic, the last 2 years in the pandemic, many people have been isolated, worked alone. So being a mentor during these times are especially important, and your role as a mentor can really change those people's lives. But you must find your why. Why do you want to care about that? So mentoring for who? There is two groups that you will be mentored for. You can. That's very dependent on the company you work for. I work for the governmental agency, so we our main role as a Norwegian welfare administration is actually getting people to work. That is what we do. You can mentor unemployed people, and or you can mentor already employed people in other companies or in your own company. And I have been working mostly with unemployed, underrepresented groups. So this is my area. I will not touch on the already employed developers. This is many resources available here. There is a wide range of diverse people. So I have been mostly working with these groups, and there's a lot of stuff that people don't know. I mean, I will mention this in the end of my talk, especially about autists. And the main thing that you need to be able to understand is all people, no matter background, no matter what situation they are in, all people have strengths. As a mentor, you will need to help them seeing their strengths, and it really doesn't matter which of those boxes you shouldn't put anyone in any box. No matter what background people have, they will always have strength. They can always use that strength actually to succeed in tech. And I wrote a blog post about this a couple of years ago. And what I experienced was there is really very little technical things to learn from those experiences, because underrepresented groups in the society, need they don't need teaching, they don't need being coached, they need people listening to them. They want people actually giving them a chance, including them. That's what they really need. And that's why my experiences has been especially these 6 things. And there's you can read more in my website. um, Okay, so this brings me over to culture because this is a very huge topic. So I will only touch one aspect of culture, and this is in your company, in your organization. Culture is the sum of values, behaviors, and attitudes in the company. And you should strengthen the behaviors that you want. You should strengthen the values that you want. And my way of working with this is also actually using my voice. Using my voice in if there's any injustice somewhere, I actively go in and I actively try to talk about what kind of a culture do I want. I want a culture of diversity and inclusion, so I speak up for this, and this is also something that you should be aware of. Okay, mentoring. How do we do it? So, as I mentioned, I work in the Norwegian government. We had 2 years ago we had a program for specifically including people. This is a program that the government started, and the main goal of this was to actually get more underrepresented groups into work, and especially in IT. So I signed up for the mentorship, and I became a mentor. And I'm going to explain to you now how we went on to do this. So the first thing I discovered is many people they confuse mentoring with coaching, and I can tell you right now that mentoring and coaching is not the same thing. You might apply techniques from coaching in your mentoring, but it's not the same thing. So mentoring is a holistic view on a person. You take care of the person. You share your own experiences with the person. Coaching, more task oriented training, and you focus on growing a skill or a skill set. And I have been using both of these techniques during my time. So I mentioned the holistic view on the person. So uh, this graph is, if you Google mentoring, you will find some similar models like this. But you can see the all aspects of a person's life and the person's daily work and so on can be represented here. And when you mentor someone, it's not uncommon to actually be to target several of those. And mentoring means that you use your own um, your own experiences from life to actually help building the developer and making the developer succeed best possible. So these are the and when you make a mentoring for let's say 1.5 years of mentorship, it's you can actually use those topics here as discussion topics in your discussions with your mentee. The plan we had, the way we organized it was something similar to this. So you have a start. We have 2 days of workshops, both for the mentors and the mentees together. And then you have uh, about a year or so with first weekly meetings and then bi-weekly meetings. And during the whole process here, you have every third month we have feedback sessions. And the feedback sessions is together with the teams, because when we hire trainees, when we mentor developers, we always start by finding them a development team, and the trainee and the mentee will work together with the development team for the whole time, and we will have those feedback sessions together with the product owners and the mentor and the mentee. And during that time, we also have several workshops targeting especially employability, because the main target here is actually to help the person increase his or her chance to actually being employed. So this is what we have to target. And the last phase of the mentorship is especially preparing the person for transition to job. This is where you start helping your mentee, sharing your experiences, building up the person on all aspects of increasing employability chances. So this is how we did it. There are several ways of making this. This is not one answer. You can do it. This is how we did it. And we succeeded getting people to job by using this model. Adam Grant is a known psychologist. He said you can easily be a cheerleader when you only see the strengths but not the possibility to the areas that you can build more, and you can be a critic that only sees the weak points but not the strengths. So the better approach to this is actually being a coach that sees the potentials, and you speak also, you use those exact words, the potential of the person's own potential. One more important thing here, think long term, because it really takes time. We have been doing this for 1.5 years with each person, and you should be aware that it can take anywhere between 6 months to a year before the mentee has that level of trust in you where the person will open up. And you should not rush it. You should take your time, because it's about effect over time. Do not pursue the checklists where you expect change at certain times, because it will not happen. So be patient, have a long-term view on it, and people, as people's trust in you increases, they will open up and you will be able to see progress. Work especially with growth mindset, because there is a lot of material on this. Make the person think that the person can actually develop his or her talents. This is extremely important, because having a fixed mind will only hold the person back. So speak a lot about this. Prefer product development. We have seen in the Norwegian government that traditional waterfall projects with command and control management really doesn't build people's self-confidence, and it doesn't build people. So we choose product development teams. There is especially Spotify. You can read a book called Empowered by Marty Kagan, who discusses product development. And also related to this is misaligned teams, because you can have a very good product development team, but if the product development is misaligned, everyone will be heading different directions, and it will only damage the juniors, the mentees. So work closely with the team, give the mentees a good team that they can grow on. This is how we have been also helping people working on feedback, because it's extremely important. Continuous feedback. Help the person give feedback, and help the person ask for feedback. If the mentee will give feedback, this is a way to do it. And you fill in the blanks here. And this has turned out to work quite well for us. And okay, so teams. When we employ mentees and trainees, we always start by having a team. The person will be working on actual problems related to the citizens of the country. Since we are the Norwegian government, our target group, our customers, our owners, product owners, they are really the citizens of the country. So we want our mentees to be working with real assignments and real work to experience how they can grow. But building a good teams, that's hard. But your job as a mentor will be something different. Your job as a mentor will especially be psychological safety, and that's, as a mentor, you will need to work to create high psychological safety. And Adam Grant, he puts it quite nicely here. A person with a high psychological safety will dare to say that, I don't know, I made a mistake, I disagree, I might be wrong, I have a concern, I have an idea. So focus on high psychological safety is very important. And I have seen that especially mentees, people who feel the imposter syndromes, they will be afraid of saying those things. So focus on this. Use this as a discussion topics continuously during the time in the mentorship. I added this slide here because Alexis Sanchez he's a famous footballer. He was hugely successful in Arsenal, And then he transitioned to Manchester and weren't so successful suddenly. And why is that? How can a person who is so successful suddenly be not being able to do anything? And the answer here is really, you might be really, really, really good, but you need a team. You need a team to also support you, to build you up. Like in the Formula One race, even the world's best drivers need a team to take care of the car and the vehicle. Without the team, not many things is going to be possible. So discuss teams, work on the mentees, understanding of team and team player. How to be a good team player is extremely important. Here is a diagram here showing the number of persons. If you have 8 persons in a team, you will have 28 connection points. If you have 30 people in the same product team, you will have 435. And look at the numbers, how dramatic they're increasing. So in a team with 101 people, you will have 5,050 communication lines. And be aware of this and talk with them, your mentee, about about the complexity of the communication. Help the mentee actually be more successful with communication. So building trust in empathic way, but how exactly? And this is, I'm going to go quickly through this. So it's what do you actually say? Because how do you build trust? Well, my opinion here is that you do it by speaking, and your words matter. Your words really matter. So let's go quickly through. Your life is not your office, calendar, or timesheet. If you say this to your mentee will be actually responding with more trust to you. Family and friends are everything. I always communicate to both my employees and my mentees. Family and friends are number one. If there's any situation where family and friends need your help, just take the day off and help out with your family or friends. That's okay. Whenever you feel down, take a day off. It's okay. You really should feel the flexibility and the freedom to actually take care of yourself, and it will not damage your work or your relation, not with me and not with the employer. Whenever you need support, I will be there. I will have your back. And speaking this also contributes to more trust. If the mentee made a mistake and actually dared to say to you, hey, I made a mistake, one way of responding can be, well, you said you made a mistake, but maybe you actually made a discovery. And this has happened several times when a mentee has discovered suddenly, hey, I actually learned something from this, and I reiterate on the problem and make it even better. And only you know you, and you should always communicate to your mentee to believe in his or her potential. And this is about growth mindset. And the last one is maybe my favorite one. You as a leader, you as a mentor, think servant leadership. Ask your mentee, ask your colleagues or your employees, how can I make your day better and your experience better? Because as a leader or a mentor, when you ask this kind of question, you show that I am here with you. We are on the same level. I'm not higher on you. I'm not lower than you. We are equal. This is a very powerful question that you can ask your people. And always encourage people to seek further. Do not give up on the road. The roads, I mean, to succeed, it's hard. It's a lot of work. Working for 1.5 years continuously with personal and interpersonal skills is time consuming, is hard, is challenging, but do not give up. Do not never give up. And as a mentor, always being the empathic perspective on this, always speak this thing to encourage people to not give up. So my final slides, knowledge, know your people. And this is especially extremely important when you work with underrepresented groups of the society. So educate yourself, seek information. If you work with autists, for example, talk to nonprofits that works with autists, talk with user groups, unions, organizations. and seek knowledge by the people who works with those, and learn the actual what makes people better, and and not only that, but what should you avoid that can set them back. And a very typical thing I experienced has been, for example, autists are extremely intelligent, and this is also with Asperger's syndrome. The people having that are very intelligent, extremely intelligent. They can uh, deep dive into problems that you and me cannot understand. And I have seen people basically looking up in the dictionary, hey, what is actually autism? And you can read stuff like this, a syndrome of schizophrenia and other disorders. I mean, do not go in with this perspective. Educate yourself. What actually are those people's strengths? See their strengths, because seeing those people's strengths will help you be a mentor, and it will help them see their potential. The last slide here, a very typical thing, but it's about introverts and extroverts. People say different things. People say that, hey, being an introvert is a negative thing, being an extrovert is a positive thing. But hey, it's not actually like this. Everyone has strengths, and everyone has stuff that can set them back. And know your people, seek knowledge. So this was my talk in express speed. I apologize for that. I apologize also for the background noise. I hope that I could teach you something. If there's any question, you can ask me. You can ask me here. You can send me messages on Twitter, on LinkedIn, anywhere that you can get reach me. I will be open to respond to your questions and share my experiences. And with that said,